Hello.
AJ.
Do we have any agenda for today?
I don't think so. I just was looking at the doc.
Yeah, I just came back. I haven't had yet to. Uh, I haven't had time to yet look at GitHub, so I don't know which PRs are up yet and which ones I need reviews on off the top of my mind. So I'm gonna go through GitHub next and then ping for reviews or merge depend about and work towards getting the release out.
Yeah, sounds good. It's it looks like end of month, June 30th.
Yes, yes, and I was gonna follow up with Noah to see if he started working on disk uh, connection CRD stuff. And I think I don't recall if Alan was working on anything, but I'll follow up with him as well. I know he was interested in contributing to one issue.
Yeah, sounds good. So and then June 30th is when we cut the RC or when we cut the stable. We
Ideally
always forget.
stable. Ideally stable because we closed the milestone. Oh wow.
Oh,
Do you
what's
see?
happening?
Yeah, I don't know. My camera is gone. Um,
Yeah, then we don't have much time. We got like 1 week, I think.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I'm fine with like cutting RC at the end of June because that's I think we need that time.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
let's evaluate. Let's look at the what is coming.
yeah.
And then based on that, either
Let
hold or just publish.
let me open up a milestone. Okay, let me share my screen. Do you know if Max is back or?
No, I there was nobody on the call yesterday. I mean, last week.
Oh, okay. Do you see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay. This one we have to push. Like this is an ongoing issue, and there is no work that is involved right now in this one. Um,
oh, this is when you evaluated.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
already wrote the like issues and everything, and I think Rita was supposed to follow up with Map folks to look at those issues and see if there is any support from their and their point, like from their perspective that is needed, and then I need to look at still open map issues and figure out which ones I want to pick up on, and then figure out a way to contribute there.
yeah. Do we need this to be on the milestone?
It's just, we are just tracking it, so I don't know. Like initially, this was kept on milestone, thinking that we'll need some sort of work, just like VAP integration into Gatekeeper, and we talked about those stuff, like right, like introducing V2 mutators and bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't think so. I don't
yeah.
think.
I think it doesn't make sense for it to be this one on the milestone. I think, yeah.
Okay. Uh,
It's. I mean, if anything, it's too broad.
for a milestone, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Hey,
Uh,
Alan, welcome.
so are you removing it from the milestone or?
Yeah, I can remove that one. Give me a
Okay,
second.
okay,
Yeah, you don't have to change it.
uh,
Yeah, done.
cool. So for these PRs, I don't know if the author responded to those ones, and I'm gonna take a look at this. But these are like pretty basic PRs, so if not, we can push it to the next one. There are just minor changes that were pending from author side, if I
Gotcha.
recall it correctly. This like 2802, I think Nova is gonna work on, so I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna follow up on with him. This one I don't think I'll get to for this iteration. This is basically in 131. Custom resource selection field selector was introduced, and we basically want to evaluate if we can use
Ah,
them
yeah.
for our match conditions or anything else. So maybe I'll just push this one to next then.
I don't think we have one. I can create it. Let me a second. 321. Okay, I created one.
Okay, let me push. Yeah. Okay. Then documentation later, I had a draft PR up. I'll just reopen it again, but I don't know. I mean, this is a low hanging fruit, so I would really like to get to
Yeah,
other stuff. I'll just keep it here just in case if I do have time. This one I'm gonna work on because I just want to make sure that what we I don't know if you see my screen or you only just see milestone, right?
I'm seeing milestones. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So 3770 is basically we want to make sure that the cost of cell operation evaluation is matching with the Kubernetes one in our cell engine, and it should be pretty straightforward. I just need to dig through uh, the code where cell engine is integrated in Kubernetes and make sure the cost is the same. It's just a parameter in a function before we move to beta. So just in case
yeah,
if it's a stricter and for like constraint on Kubernetes, we want to make sure that we also enforce stricter ones, just so that we don't break backward compatibility in the worst case.
yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, I think let's get that one in.
Yeah. So that was my plan this week. Like I'm gonna work on this and all the other VAP related issues and get to them as quickly as possible.
The VAP generation beta is that's just reminder, right? We're just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah. It's just reminder.
beta.
I don't think we
Uh,
have any issues blocking that as of now.
yeah. Yeah, oh, and
Um,
then let's remove the next one, the auto tagging.
yeah.
I think we need to think about a better way to do that one.
Yeah. So this is a PR. I think. I mean, I'm fine keeping it open on the side, just so that I.
Oh yeah, I just remove from milestone. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think we need to wait for that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Then support delete operation in VAP generation. I don't think this is blocking beta release. I just kept it here just in case if we get uh, if I can get to it, but I couldn't. So this is basically right now in VAP we only support create an update and not the delete operation,
I
just
see.
because like in constraint template we don't have anything equivalent to delete operation or create and update operation for that matter. Those are the parameters defined in the webhook itself. So the combination here could be we need to look at the webhook itself and see if the delete operation is permissible there and then translate it to VAP or introduce new fields in constraint template to define operations. But that kind of seems like a little bit more confusing to me. Especially when it's defined at webhook level, or we can just introduce a new functionality saying that webhook can you can enable webhook for all operations and then define policies, like define the policies you want to define for the specific operations as well.
Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
might be a new feature. Okay, let me just make a comment in that issue as well. uh Introduce fields CTN introduce feature to define operations for CTN transfer. Yes. Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, so I'll just keep it in the milestone still, just because I want to make sure at least like we are not we this like from code's perspective this is not blocking on beta. F- I know it is not, but I just want to make the like I want to double check. Uh,
Yeah, I can do that. That one is I just pressed code with GitHub agent mode, so it might be done already.
oh, okay.
This is just adding like, hey, let's make sure to check the
Yeah,
vulnerabilities and yeah, a bunch of stuff. So
this
that
will be this
yeah.
will be kind of like adding PR description in the CI job basically.
Oh no, it's basically
The
oh yeah, in the PR description. I thought this was actually the in the release process, but that also makes sense. It's basically um
yeah, like it will be it should have a release PR should have a checkbox saying that you checked for vulnerability, you checked for dependency bumps and other
oh,
stuff.
can you add a PR template for a specific type of PR? I don't know.
I mean, we do have description, right? Like let me just share my whole screen. Sorry, we can. We do. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, I see the repo. Yeah.
Okay. Where is release PR? Release PR. So here, right? Like,
Oh yeah, because we created
yeah,
yeah
yeah,
I okay. Can you add let me see Peter Evans create pull request. I don't know if there's a body thing there. Peter Evans. Let's see author sign off. Body, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's I think that makes it super easy. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Uh, okay. So are you gonna work on that? So,
Yeah, I'll do that one. Yeah.
okay. Uh, then I'll just assign it to you.
Yeah, it's sent to me.
Okay. This one, it kind of needs a deeper look into all of our charts, so that's why I kept it here. I just haven't had time. I think it's fine to move it to 320. Sorry, 321. So I'm gonna do that. It's like a maintenance thing. Uh, this one, we will. Oh, okay. I'm just refreshing my memory on this.
Oh, I think there is like a delay in audit. I think the first one is basically. I think we wait until the audit time interval.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they don't want to wait. Uh,
Right.
they want to run the audit as soon as all the constraints are in enforced
Yep.
state, enforceable state, basically.
I think so. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get to this one as well.
Yeah. I don't know why we made this one.
So I think Rita added this just
Uh,
because there might be. Yeah, I think Rita added this because we were looking at running the audit as soon as possible, and this was a similar issue a while back. Uh, okay, I think let's keep it here for now, and then when Rita is here next week, we can look at it again. But I don't think I'm gonna get to it in 320.
Yeah,
And
that, I mean, that makes sense.
um, yeah, this one is also pretty simple. This is basically we want to make sure that we publish all of our demo images or like fake images into GHCR for folks to try out demos that we have or steps that we have listed on our website. And I think this is fine to be pushed in 321.
This is we are pushing to GHCR, right?
Yeah. We are not pushing to Docker. So these are not production images.
Yeah, it's just the fake stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
mostly for I think pops up stuff. Yeah, so
yeah, yeah. Okay, and the last one, yeah, this I think we do want, and I'm gonna work on it. So this is basically to make sure that when an export resource or export configuration is deleted, we actually delete the instance from the memory as well. So right now, what was happening is uh, when a connection is created, right, for pubsub or export, we actually store the object references into map as well after the successful creation of the connection. And then when the connection is deleted, meaning the resource itself is deleted, we actually try to close all the connections first and then delete the object from reference, which basically meant that if there is an error in deleting the underlying resources or whatever, like closing the connection somehow, then it would be returned without removing the reference of that object from the memory itself. So for the next publishing thing, it will still try to use the in-stored memory object reference to publish out violations where the actual connection object doesn't exist. So now we just have to flip the order where we first remove any references from the memory as soon as the resource is removed, and then try to clean up resources or delete or close connections basically. uh, so yeah, I'll get to this one as well. uh,
mm,
I think that's about it.
yeah, it sounds like the most important ones are
This one and VAP
that
stuff.
one. Yeah, the costs and the POs, the CRD one, but I that we might need to bump that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna follow up with Noah on this one.
Okay, that sounds good. So yeah, let's prioritize on those ones, and then I think we can look into the other ones, like the add CI to the sample images and whatnot. Like if you don't have time, then I think we can punt those ones.
Yeah,
Oh, and then the WAP generation beta, I think we need to just update the code and the docs to just call it beta.
yeah. We went through the full scale milestone planning.
Yeah.
It was a yeah. I think I got caught up really well. So, do you have anything, Alan? If
I don't
I
have anything else. Ellen, did you add anything? Oh, you added some stuff to the agenda. Yeah, let's go talk to.
Yes, if that's okay. So good to see you again, and Sertag. It though the last few sessions I've been filling in the folks on some of our gatekeeper setup and issues. I guess to start, I didn't put it in the agenda. Jay, I haven't been able to put time to start working on the fix for that issue that I opened, right? It's in our backlog. And some other priorities came up, so it's still on my radar, but not actively on it this week. But however, I am exploring kind of out of that issue. I've questioned how we're deploying Gatekeeper, right, with these two instances. And I want to come back to our environment and potentially aggregate the two webhooks into just one instance so that it does both mutation and validation. Um, and so I started to look at our observability for the two instances, and our mutation gatekeeper is off the roof with some memory consumption in some of our clusters. We're seeing it rise to 20 gigs of memory, right? And that was a little concerning. And it's across a few cluster environments that I'm still kind of digging into. So I know it's not something you guys test, right? And so this is why I'm trying to see if we can go to the single instance of doing both functionalities, operations. Um, but in this current setup, right, if we are doing config replication, that instance that's really not doing the validation is still going to replicate data. Is that accurate? Even though Operation Webhook is not enabled, will that gatekeeper instance think or start registering because there's a config resource in the namespace? Will it sync objects? I guess.
Yeah, if you define it like this, the config object, if
Yeah,
I recall correctly, everything, I mean, whatever is defined in there will be synced to the
will be.
to the
Yeah.
cache.
But it shouldn't it even though it's synced, well, I guess depending on the size of the cluster and how many resources are created, it
Yep,
could impact the memory of that gatekeeper, right?
correct. Yeah.
But what we're seeing is that over, the days, the memory just increments, you know, ever so slightly until it reaches the 20 gigs, and we have a memory
Mm,
limit to on that deployment, so it gets killed and it just restarts, right?
yeah.
Um,
That's kind of surprising though, because I don't think I mean, are you adding more objects to the
Not
cache?
really. No, and that's not my only concern, right? I just wanted to understand if config will be syncing, and it sounds like it will.
Yeah.
That instance is only doing mutation in the sense of we have about handful, less than a dozen mutators assigned, mostly assigned, that are doing pod mutation to security context. Okay, so it's changing, so it's defaulting some values so
Right.
that objects get into the
Right.
cluster with these settings. Um, and so you can imagine pods get created frequently and in volume. But I would still not expect it to go all the way to 20 gigs. And because we have other environments that are, steady at 3, 5 gigs. But there are scenarios where we see this memory increasing drastically. And we're just now kind of seeing that happen, or not just seeing it, but we're observing it. It might have been happening, and we just haven't been paying attention, right? Um,
So it
so
sounds like if you didn't had, if you had just had the operation mutation, you wanted to basically see that cache should not populate.
well, yes, because mutation doesn't have that referential capability, right?
Right.
But if it's not contributing to this issue, then I'm not too concerned. I don't know what is. So one of the things that I started looking into, and I put it in the chat yesterday, and Rita was pointing me to some uh, guidance, is using the pprof capability that you guys have in Gatekeeper,
Oh yeah.
right? And I've attempted enabling it, but I don't know if it's maybe some environment issue on our clusters, our side, right? I'm unable to collect the profiles. But in looking at the logs, I also don't see the log statements that say it's enabled. However, in a isolated test environment, not my workspace, um, I do see that the port is listening in that gatekeeper instance, but I'm also unable to connect. So I'm just wondering, do you guys have examples of how to use this pprof setting in gatekeeper? Is it pretty standard in that once it's enabled and running as a server on that default port or any port you define, I just point to the right path and am able to download the profiles?
Yeah, it should be. I think I added this one a while back. Yeah, you need to enable it, and then you can customize the port. Should
Yeah,
work. I mean, you might. I mean, if you're in the cluster and then if you're accessing locally, you might need to do port forward.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. I'll continue that, but like I think um if there's
I haven't
nothing
looked at
else.
this in a long, long time. But there's like a
Yeah.
web UI, and then you can like download
Oh,
the.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with pprof myself. So I need to like dig into a little bit more of like how to actually use that endpoint and the data that it produces. But I need to connect first, so I'm having trouble with that. That might be an
Yeah.
environment issue. That
And just out
I'll
of curiosity, and then you have gatekeeper instances running with webhook, and then some with mutation, and then but it's not in the same. It's not in the same pod, right?
not in the same path, correct?
I see. Okay.
Same namespace, but we separate the
Mhm.
just deployment. We use the chart. We're using your charts, but like we customize the heck out
Yeah,
of
makes
it.
sense. Yeah. So you just have like a standalone mutation, which is fine. Yeah. Um,
Well, it's fine until we found an issue, and Jay, I don't know if he's aware, there is a bug when we tried. Right now we're on 315,
mhm.
and we were looking to upgrade to 318, but when I think it was 317 when we introduced, or you introduced the generate uh, flag, generate
Mhm.
CRDs, or not CRDs, but generate operation, that caused our environment to fail. That instance that was just mutating now required the operation webhook because the OPA client in the code is looking for enforcement points, but we don't use enforcement points. So on that instance,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
yeah. So with Jay, him and I have been meeting and talking about the fix, and we want to contribute that fix
Yeah.
into.
So now, like, now we, so the fix we talked about was to revamp the enforcement point code to support a client without any enforcement point, but that just fixes part of the problem. The actual problem is that the gatekeeper code needs a little bit of refactoring, because right now all dependencies are common between like webhook and mutations, and like some of the dependencies are very specific, right? Like for example, this caching or a sync controller should only run when it's either a webhook or an audit, not the mutation, right? So we have to define like operation based dependencies for all our controllers, uh, and then only initiate those with the like associated with specific operations. So right now, if you go and look at the code, I shared a link in the chat itself. Like the mutation operation and webhook operations are essentially combined into one uh, thing, and so either of them are enabled. OPA client is required, but for mutation, we don't really need OPA client. That's just one example.
Can I just ask for the memory kind of to continue my like investigation on that memory outside of the pprof uh, kind of analysis once I get the profile, you guys suggest any other way to identify what would be causing memory to spike and increase so high? Um, and other data points that I'm trying to gather are like how many resources are getting applied to this cluster throughout that time span that we see the memory um it is I don't think it's like a tremendous amount, like I can't quantify it just yet. I don't have that data, but I would hate to like the way this controller should work is that you release the memory once it's done processing, right? And stabilize. And memory consumption should increase when maybe the volume is high, the queries per second are pretty high. But for it to continue to climb and not release is, I think, maybe what's concerning me and my team. So wanted to just see if you guys had suggestions or recommendations on other things to troubleshoot on.
Yeah, it might help if you just dump the contents of it, like using data.inventory, and then see like over time what changes. Um,
Wait,
I'm
sorry,
guessing
dump what data?
dump the cache data.
Hmm.
And then maybe if like it's just start with a small cluster and then add a few things, and then over time does it increase? And then yeah, maybe the cache is not getting the
cleaned up.
yeah cleaned up, but yeah,
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 that's
that's
and
an
I don't want to
observation.
lead. Yeah, I don't want to lead to say that the caching is the problem, right? When you say caching, the config aspect of the caching, like the config resource, is that what you're referring to?
Oh no, I meant isn't like the so cache set like put some objects in the cache, the config
Okay, I see.
resource, right? And then add a constraint templates that dumps the data that inventory. So that dumps the contents of the cache, right? And then see like and then do it like today and then tomorrow or whatever, see what the difference is. Is it
I
maybe
see.
it's not removing some of the objects? Yeah, I think that might be a good test to verify.
Oh, okay. And so it's supposed to remove it. Like when does it know to remove it? Is there like a timer, a default timer to keep an object cached? How does
Yeah,
that
I
work?
think when the object is removed from the cluster, I think there's latency, but it should remove from the cache, I believe.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. If we're caching deployments, and higher level resources, those might live for quite a bit of time, right? And so it won't ever remove it from the cache,
Oh, you are not removing the so you
the
basically add new
resources.
stuff, but you don't remove the older objects.
Right. So let me this is like a multi-tenant cluster, right? And
Mhm.
our tenants deploy their apps. So
Gotcha.
a
What's the
deployment that
size of your etcd, if you know?
uh this I have to get back to you. Don't know offhand. Yeah.
Okay, like if it's huge, then it's expected that gatekeeper cache will also grow since it's kind of
Yeah.
storing the etcd
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
So
it's
if you're
But
just
not,
adding objects to the cluster, and then you're like those objects, like those GDKs are in the config object, then it's just going to keep caching more and more stuff like over time. I thought you cleaned up,
but
and
oh
then
no.
cache still grew.
But but here's a curveball because our instance that is just validation, which is where I care to cache, right?
Hmm.
The data is never reaching over maybe a gig, right, of memory.
Hmm.
So that instance, yeah, yeah. So so that's where I have to do a little bit more digging because 20 gigs plus is and even if the mutation is processing hundreds of pod requests to mutate, I
Yeah,
still don't expect that memory to stay at 20 and keep climbing day to day, right?
yeah.
Uh,
But it doesn't
so
make sense for us to cache if if it's just a mutation
yeah, right.
operation really, because mutation
Maybe
doesn't support cache, the informer cache. So yeah.
right. But
Have
it
you
could
guys
be
discussed this before? Like just removing the mutation? If it's just mutation, we don't cache?
from
we
removing.
have not discussed this
Oh,
before because we haven't had any user complaining that we are running two different things, one in
yeah,
webhook and one in mutation. Like this is the first time. So
right. Yeah.
thanks again, Ellen.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
mean, there's like so many things that you can do, like, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's hard to know all
But
of the
this,
Yeah.
so
configurations.
that's where I was thinking that and on the issue that Alan created, I also listed the same thing, that
Yeah,
we may want to refactor the whole code to better suit it for per operation thing.
right.
Uh, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think that makes sense to me. Like, just we don't cache anything if it's just mutation
yeah.
operation, and then yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah,
Jay, are you
especially
able?
it just doesn't make sense if you're running them as separate pods and then mutations caching. Okay, what is it for? Yeah.
Uh, well, hold on. Sorry, I was supposed to meet with someone. Um, so one last question. Jay, are you able to like maybe in the code a link that sends me down the path to study the mutation code, right? I just want to start kind of reviewing, just familiarize myself with the code that does, all the assign objects and the actual mutation.
Yeah.
If, if I can just also start looking at that, and then I'll keep you guys updated on like the pprof analysis once I get those profiles. I don't know if config is an issue to this memory problem. However, it would be ideal if it's not caching. Um, but it might not be because I would expect that to also be a problem in the validation gatekeeper. So I just wanted to call that out.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't want to say that config is the issue. I just thought, okay, that's something that
Yeah.
will
So it
memory.
could be something completely different that's increasing the memory. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we probably want to look at it with pprof then. Yeah, hard to tell.
Okay. Yep.
Um,
'Cause once I get the pre-prof, I'll have to learn how to analyze
yeah,
and
it's
read
a
the
bit
data.
confusing. So,
Yeah.
uh,
But if I can pair it with the code and like the functions or methods, maybe that'll help me quicker analyze that data.
So yeah, it's like first time when I was going through Gatekeeper code, it's kind of confusing because we kind of have two uh, different things. Like one is controller, and then the other one is system. So controller is just responsible for uh, all sorts of mutators that we have, and then it uses the system package, and all the actual mutation happens within the system itself. So I already shared the link to where our controllers are, like in core, under core,
Got it.
you would see those things. And I thought we had all four controllers as well assigned, but I'll find you that those things. Yeah.
Thanks.
And this, I think, those two things should lead you to other parts of the code, and you can start from there.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I'll take a look. Cool. That's it, guys. Thank you.
anything else we want to chat today?
Hmm. No, I think I'm good. I'll get to the issues I'm working on today, so we can get to
Awesome.
the release.
I think I just was looking at it. The Copilot agent mode already created the stuff, so
It's
it is so good. Yeah, you guys should try it. It's so good.
uh,
I didn't see you have the button, the agent mode stuff in GitHub, Jay.
oh, did I?
Yeah, you didn't have that one.
What did it create, Sartek?
So basically, GitHub has this new functionality. There's this as part of the PR. Sorry, as part of an issue, there's this code with agent mode. So if you click on it, it opens this code space, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Oh
the
yeah.
Copilot chat basically does the work for you using the agent mode, and it's like, okay, there it is.
Cool. Cool.
Oh
It's-
wow. So it tries to read the context of the issue and work on it
oh
basically.
yeah, but it doesn't read the title for some reason. So all the context should be in the
Description.
body. And I mean, it's basically a prompt, so it's a good hygiene to put everything in the
Yeah,
issue.
yeah.
And after that, it's yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, I'll
Very
check this out. Like this kind of helps or motivates developers to have a cleaner and more like
Yeah,
perfect.
contextual description to
yeah,
begin with.
yeah. I then make sure to change the model to the I think Claude Sonnet 4 or
Oh,
the Gemini 2.5 Pro. Those are really good.
okay,
Cool.
cool. Hey, thanks for
All
this
right,
tip. I
guys.
didn't know this. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna drop. Thanks for the call.
yeah,
Yeah. Have a nice day.
yeah.